It's no secret that a lot of Olympic sports can be exclusive and out of touch with the ordinary viewer, not just because the athletes are built differently, but also because some sports are just too expensive to get into. So where does archery fit? The purpose of this video is to go through all the kit that a typical archer uses in the modern target recurve discipline. I'll both state a price tag for each component as well as educate you on what it's used for. I will follow a few general guidelines. I will specifically target, pun intended, what an athlete might use at the Olympics, but not include other costs like memberships, training, travel, and so on. I will use US dollars as the reference point. I will also err on the high end of the price range for items which are more common with competition shooters, though athletes might not actually use the most expensive gear. Before I begin, what the heck is all this anyway? Olympic archery can be kind of weird to spectators who have never seen the modern sport, kind of how ISSF shooting events have weird equipment. If you're interested in archery, you don't actually need this kind of bow. You buy a partial version to shoot bare bow, or you can go down to traditional route. This bow kit is very specific to this kind of archery. Also, you don't have to get this level of equipment to be competitive. You might budget around $700 all up for your first full Olympic recurve kit, everything included, which is relatively cheap compared to many other sports. Most recreational archers who shoot this discipline don't move beyond that and can compete head to head with top equipment, as the returns diminish and skill is the deciding factor. The high-end equipment generally benefits from better structure and balance, finer tolerances, and more adjustability, not just being an upgrade, though there are some notable exceptions where you kind of need the best. You can still be competitive with components half the price of what I state. So let's begin. The riser is the central hub component where everything attaches. Good risers have highly engineered internal frames that reduce torque. The models used by high-level archers are around $950. The limbs are the working part of the bow, which is held under tension when drawn. Good limbs are made from more complex composite materials which are less affected by heat, feel smoother to draw, and less punishing for the millimeter variations. About $900. The bowstring is made from modern synthetic materials. The price range is most dependent on whether it is factory made or custom. They're around $40. The sight is a non-magnified sight pin attached to an adjustable bar. Better sights have finer adjustments and have stronger attachment methods that keep it from vibrating loose. $450. These stabilizers are the long rods that stick out of the bow. These provide both counterbalance and vibration dampening. There is a lot of variation in exactly how archers set up their stabilizers, but generally they include the long rod, side rods, the V-bar mount that connects them, and usually an extender rod plus weights. For a whole set, I'm going to give it about a $900 price tag. The arrow rest is where you place the arrow. Good ones are easy to adjust and less likely to move loose between shots. $50. The plunger is a spring that buffers the arrow's flex when it is shot, allowing for finer adjustment and tuning. There's a big gap between good and very good plungers, mostly in the quality of the spring, adjustability, and inclusion of spare springs and tips. $150 for the most common and best. The clicker is a strip that goes over the arrow tip. This produces an audible sound when pulled through, acting as a mental trigger for release. $30. Finger tabs are finger protection. Better tabs have more personalization to match the most preferred shape and position. $90. Arm guards are plastic protectors for the forearm. For newbies, it protects against the string slap, but the pro archers keep it simple, serving as a smooth surface in case the string buzzes too close. About $25. The chest guard is a mesh half vest that flattens the chest area and clothing on it to prevent the string catching on. Also about $25. Arrows. Now, this is complex, though most archers will almost always use one specific brand for the 70-meter target event. Modern target arrows are carbon over a hollow aluminium core with a barrel shape profile to balance wind drift and aerodynamics. The top shafts guarantee a very high level of straightness. The shafts alone for a dozen are nearly $500, and you can bet that a competition archer will have multiple sets. To simplify things, I'll add up all the typical components, so it's around $750 for a dozen arrows. Thankfully, they're reusable. Lastly, we'll cover the quiver as well. More expensive quivers come with a belt and have more carrying compartments for tools and spare parts. While these obviously don't affect shooting, they have them with them, so that's another $100. To total up, the bow itself will cost around $3,500. Add in the arrows and other accessories, and the kit you see in competition is around $4,500. By the way, it's not unusual for a top level archer to have a second bow as backup. So yeah, that's the price of archery. As I said at the beginning, it isn't required to buy all of this equipment. Not all the equipment is at this level and price range. Most people will settle for half or even a quarter of the price and quality. Fortunately, most of these items will last forever, so even if you go for a mid-range bow, that's likely going to last your entire casual shooting career and then be sold or handed off to someone else to shoot for their career, and so on. The used bow market is actually quite significant. Heck, my original rod that I started using is actually a club bow at the University of Sydney after changing hands several times. So that is the cost of archery. For those who do archery and dare to answer, how much did you spend on your bow? For those who do other sports, how does this compare?